right, 45 ACP versus 9mm. And I haven't shot revolvers for a while lately because the ammo is kind of hard to come by, but most revolver guys, you know, this is pretty much true, are always 45 auto fans as well, you know, boomer rounds there. But anyways, I wanted to test this for a really long time. And what we have here is the Winchester Defender, previously known as the PDX-1. And what the Winchester Defender is, it's basically the Winchester Ranger bonded, which is different than the T-Series. The T-Series is a true jacketed bullet. This is more like a gold dot as far as the Defender or the Ranger bonded. It's kind of like a plating. But I wanted to test this for a long time, this 230 grain 45 ACP, because many years ago, it was my very first concealed carry round. I really have always wanted to test this round to see really what it can do, because I've just been curious about it, even though I don't carry it anymore. And our 9mm is a 124 grain plus P. That's pretty much your standard law enforcement load nowadays. It's a bonded 124 grain plus P. So as far as barrel travel, we got pretty much the same thing, 5-inch, 5.3-inch, but this cartridge is a little longer, so your bullet nose to muzzle is basically identical on both guns. So that'll be pretty interesting to test those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my 10% clear ballistics gel block. But in front of that, I have my ballistic baloney pack, which is covered by 4 layers of denim. It's 1 3/4 inches of baloney. We have 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard. This kind of represents like a pectoral muscle followed by some ribs or sternum into this gel block. Now with bullets like that, typically this represents about 7 inches. It'll take about 7 inches of this away. It doesn't do it with every caliber and every round, but typically, but nonetheless, this is still going to give us a pretty good representation of a human analog that this alone will not give, because this is kind of average tissue density that does not take into consideration bone, which this will do. So, you know, if we want 12 inches, we're going to add 7 to that, and that's like 19 inches. That's pretty much how the equation works. You know, if we were at 10 inches, we'd actually be at 17 inches of this, just this. So I'm going to test that. We're definitely going to go through our chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time to make sure those rounds are up to par. And then I'm going to shoot from back there a little bit. It's going to be 50 yards at my full-size steel silhouette. And a lot of people are going to say, why do you even do that? There's no practical application. Well, there might not be normally, but it's still good to see if it's possible, and there are limited circumstances where that might be something you need to do. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up is our 9mm. I'm 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. This is rated at 1200 feet per second, but I believe it's out of a 4-inch barrel, so we should get at least 1200 feet per second. So let's see what we get with the 9mm version. 1282, nice. 1328. 1338. 1283. 1341, so a nice round overall. Let's see how that 45 ACP compares. All right, next up is our 45 ACP rated at 920 feet per second, which is a pretty good rating for a standard pressure anyways. Let's see if we get close to 920 out of this 5.3-inch Glock 41. 883. 865. 936. 869. 908. So a little bit less than rated velocity, but definitely very accurate in point of aim and impact round. So I'm still impressed with that round and not a lot of recoil at all. So let's hit our gel block with our baloney pack and see how these two compare to each other. All right, first up we have our 9mm. Let's see what this does. Wow. That was pretty cool. So what it did to this is just a massive amount of damage where it came through our fiberboard, much larger than starting diameter where it hit this. Now we can tell right there that your bullet is almost expanded to that diameter, if not that diameter, as it hit this fiberboard and went through. So if it gets any good penetration in that gel, with this going on, that's definitely a good thing. So let's see what we got in the gel block. So what we're looking at in the gel block is our damage path is right at about 10 3/4 inches, or maybe about 10.5 from this view here. Sometimes the camera angle does not line up with what I'm seeing, so I'm going to call it at 10.5. Now if we were to take that initial equation of 7 inches, that would be like 17.5. But I am going to do the quote-unquote gut shot. I'm going to remove that baloney pack. I'm just going to shoot through 4 layers of denim into this and see if we do get up there. We probably will not, because our expansion will probably be different. But let's go through just the gel and denim and see how it does. All right, here's our gut shot, just our regular old ballistic test that most people do. So let's see what we get. Right. So it appears I lost that bullet out the side, so let me run it again. All right, let's try it one more time. All right. And like I was saying with this, I was kind of saying this before, it's hard to see in the second block, but we're at, our damage path is close to 18.5, so it's not a huge difference in equation of what I was thinking with that baloney pack making a difference. Because my initial test that I did to come up with that equation was with a gold dot. So it appears that it's really a perfect equation for bullets like this, but not so much with smaller calibers. But definitely a lot of damage going on, and both of these look like they have excellent expansion. So let's move on to our 45 and see how that compares. All right, I don't know about this with that baloney coming back with the 9mm. Seems like good ammo. Let's see what we can get with the 45 auto. Just dropped it right to the ground. That's what 45s do, drop stuff. So what we're looking at here is it doesn't really look like there's any expansion. We're poking out the back, we're reversed here. So let me just get that guy if I can. And yeah, there's basically no expansion. So if we were looking at this from that same equation, we'd be looking at 23 inches, which isn't massively a lot, but it is definitely over penetration. So obviously we're going to set this back up and we're going to shoot it with just the denim and see how that does. And here's our baloney damage, and as confirmed through our fiberboard, the starting diameter is not larger. So let's just shoot through denim. All right, here's our gut shot with our 45. Let's see what this does. And we're looking at like 26.5 inches of just plain gel. We got the same thing going on. Hardly any damage through here, almost nothing. And we stopped unexpanded here at 26.5. That's not very impressive. So considering the fact I was carrying even a shorter barrel at the time when I had this round and wanted to test it, I had some ideas that this would be the greatest round ever, and I would have been sorely mistaken if I would have had to use it. So anyways, let's shoot from 25 yards, or excuse me, 50 yards, and see what kind of accuracy these things have. All right, you might see my target down there, 50 yards. Been loving this pistol lately. It's 9mm. So let's see what it can do for me at 50 yards. Oh, I actually missed it. Yep, I pulled that. So it looks like a lot of my hits are low left, and I saw that it hit the dirt kind of low left, so it's a little low. Not too bad. Let's try the 45. The interesting thing about 45s, why this kind of is practical at this distance, is at distances like that, when you go through stuff like car windshields and stuff, a lot of times the lighter 9mm, they'll hit the glass and then they'll kind of go down to a different point of impact than when they first impacted, as where something like a 45 will hit where it hits and then just go right through in the same straight line. So a non-expanding 45 at 50 yards, if I was trying to achieve something like that, I'd probably rather have this than that 9mm, even though it performed better in our test. So see if I can hit this steel. A little bit low left again. Let me adjust for that. Wow. Wow, it jammed up on the feeding ramp here. I actually had to aim about a foot right of that target to hit there. Same thing. Alright, not too bad. I had to kind of aim like, you know, that guy is there. I had to kind of aim like right here to hit over here. So definitely a little bit of difference in point of aim. Most ammo shoots point of aim and impact with this. So for whatever reason, it's just, this pistol does not like that ammo. And it didn't do that well in our ballistic test, but our 9mm seemed to do excellent. Now I tested it in the past a couple years ago, and what I saw from my 4-inch barrel wasn't particularly impressive, but it's one of those things. Every gun is different. Even if you have a 4-inch barrel of certain gun at a Ruger Security 9, it might not be the same as a 4-inch Glock 19 with that ammo. But then you might switch to a different ammo and it is the same thing. It's just one of those weird things. So I think that 5-inch MMP pistol did give it a really good fair chance, because we were definitely way above our rated velocity and it performed excellent. So I would have no problems carrying that ammo. But with this, yeah, I'm just gonna say that's a fail all across the board. So anyways, that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.